Welcome to the Writing Gals, where we are three sweet romance authors tonight because Victorine is on a cruise on her way back from New York and her internet was not doing well, so she will not be joining us. And Michelle is struggling with her webcam, so she's going to try and see if she can get a photo up of herself or she can get her camera working. So you get to see mine and Judy's lovely face tonight. And tonight we're talking about Christmas because it is the first week in November and we have about a month until the Christmas season starts. So we wanted to get this podcast out of the way before it got too close. And you guys had some great questions, so we are excited to dive into them. But let's start with where we are at and what we're doing. So Judy, why don't you go first?
Okay. So I am just at the end of my Christmas romance that I'm writing this year. I'm hoping that I can finish it within the next couple of days because it's due to my editor on Saturday, and I'd rather not send it in too many pieces. I've had to do that before. So, so that's what I've been doing, and just writing it and figuring out the ending. I thought that I knew how it was going to end, and of course I didn't really, because that's how all my books go. So it's fun. But yeah, hopefully I can finish it up because next week is the 20 books to 50K conference that I'll be going to, and I want to be able to enjoy that and just relax and have fun instead of worrying about deadlines. So yeah.
Yes, we're very excited. And you're going into some adult now instead of YA. So we're excited to see how that does for you.
Yeah, me too. Finally adding to that series like a year later. So like I have all these ideas just waiting, but I've been working on that young adult series for forever. So
we'll see nice how it goes to change it.
It was fun. Yeah, it's nice, and it's a little different, of course, but a lot of it's pretty similar too. And I'm still doing first person past tense, so that was easier to do. So.
Sorry, I was trying to I feel like I have to hunch down to be underneath.
Yeah, I gotta raise your computer a little bit or something.
Hold on, let me try. Because I'm like, if not, I'm gonna get back problems. Good thing I'm going to the chiropractor tomorrow, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. One more. Wow, that's better. Okay, well, awesome. We're excited to see how that works for you. And Michelle, what about you? What are you doing or finishing up?
I just sent my Christmas novelette. It's about 15,000 words. Well, I got it back from my editor, and I've been making final corrections on it. And it's being published in an anthology with a few other authors, including Victorine. And I think that's coming out November 15th. So I'm excited about that. My life has been crazy, though, because I pushed back a pre-order deadline already one time. And so it was set in stone. And my young adult book is coming out on November 14th, whether I like it or not. So I've been really, really trying to finish that. And it's been fun because I'm loving the story so much, but I am just not writing quickly. And so it's going to be very last minute ditch effort to get that up in time. So everybody cross your fingers for that. But I will definitely, one way or the other, be finished with that by Saturday. And then it's full on finish my full-length Christmas novel that I've been trying to get to for 3 weeks now. And I'm really excited to do that. I will finally, this year it's been like building. I'm going to have 3 books out in my Christmas series this year. And so I'm really excited. I've been redoing my covers. I'm about to redo my blurbs and I've been setting up promos today for it. So I'm really excited to just see what kind of movement I can get going on that whole series this year. It feels like it's been a work in progress for 3 years now. So
that's super exciting.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I just today wrote the end on my Christmas story, and I've got to do a little bit of edits before I send it to my content editor. I'm hoping to have it published last week of November, maybe a little bit earlier than that. Depends on how fast I can get it back from people. And then my Sweetheart Books is putting out its own anthology, which is going to launch on the 18th. We're really, really excited about that. And I'm kind of excited to dive into talking about anthologies because that could be a quick way to make some good Christmas money with some fellow authors. And I'm going to 20 books next week, but I will be writing at least to 3,000 words a day is my goal, because I have got three books to finish by the end of the year. So I am still, luckily one of them I have 30,000 words in already, so that shouldn't take too long. But so I have two other books. Do I have two? Yeah, I have two other books that I have to write in the next 2 months, and hopefully get my fifth brother's book is actually going to be a Christmas themed one. And I actually got some inspiration from that book from the hashtags from Jimmy Fallon. They had a holiday one, and they had the funniest thing that they talked about, and I'm totally going to take it and put it in one of my books. So watch those because they're good for inspiration. But so hopefully I can get it released maybe in the middle of December. But if not, it's a pre-order till the end of December. And the nice thing is it's part of a 5-book series, so I will still sell it, even if it's not Christmas, because it's the last sibling that's going to be in a relationship. Mm-hmm. And I'm starting co-writing next year, which I'm really, really excited about, because it'll be nice not to have this rush and me being the only one. So I have two co-authors I'm going to be working with. So I'll be excited to tell you that. And I also took a whole series out of KU. So this week has been like crazy. Decided to pull the series from KU, and I'm going wide with it. So testing that out. So lots of stuff going on in my world.
Amy's always the one that tries out everything for us first.
But the nice thing about pulling your books from KU is that if it doesn't work, you can just stick them right back in. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to test it, and I have enough books out now that I feel like I can start playing around in that area. And everyone I talk to say it's a slow build, but their income doesn't fluctuate as much as KU authors. Maybe they don't have big months like we do, but they stay consistent throughout the whole year. So I'm like, I didn't take my big series that's making me a lot of money. I took a kind of a smaller series that's kind of died off a little bit. And I said, okay, let's try it wide. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I'm really excited not to have to depend on the page reads coming in. I'm excited just to have people purchase the books and I get the money. So we'll see. I may be cursing it in a month and I'll just stick them all back in. Okay, so we're going to talk about Christmas. And I thought it would be fun if we just at the beginning talked about like a couple of Christmas things that we love to see in Christmas books that we always try to put in our Christmas books, whether it be like a trope or like a scene or something that you always try to put in. That makes it a Christmas book to you. So why don't you go first, Judy?
So I really, you always have to have them getting a tree or decorating a tree or something to do with that, because trees are just like a big part of Christmas for me. And so that's something. And so in this latest book I did, I actually there's a few trees that are unique and cool. So that was fun. And then also you got to have those like mistletoe kisses and like walks in the snow. I love those. So those are like my favorite 3.
Awesome. What about you, Michelle?
For me, I really like to have a lot to do with Christmas music in my books because I think it instantly pulls people in. And I use it as my inspiration when I'm writing. So it kind of works out as a connection between me and the reader a lot. So you'll find that in every Christmas book I write. I also really like to have like the first snowfall, of the season, or like it just starts snowing and the magic of that. And I really like having my characters decorating in different ways, because the way people decorate says a lot about what they feel about the season and what they're going through in their lives. And so it's a good characterization tool, but at the same time, brings in all that magic and excitement. So my favorite trope has always been getting snowed in together. Mm-hmm. Never written it. And I'm doing that this year. So I'm really excited to finally play around with that one.
Fun.
That's awesome. For me, I really like having the lingo in my book be very Christmassy. So like everything is, you know, like you use the Grinch to describe a person who's angry, or everything you just kind of use words that are Christmas related in your stories to really bring the reader into it. I also like having snow in my Christmas stories. I don't know if I could write a Christmas story in the South where it's hot. I don't think it would feel very Christmassy, but that's just me. And then I like the same thing, decorating Christmas trees and making Christmas cookies. I think I love baking scenes because you can get very close with people in a baking. You can get people close together in a baking scene. And I always love to have a kid in my Christmas story because they really bring out the excitement of Christmas. So, yay, hopefully that got us all super excited.
Yeah, I was going to say your thing about the weather. So my series is like all S words and mistletoe. And I've thought about doing seashells and mistletoe. And I'm like, ooh, how would I do that? Could I write a Christmas story set on the beach? Could I? And so I'm really playing with that. But that's like 2 more years down the road if I do it. So we'll see. My husband's trying to talk us into going to Florida for Christmas. And I was like, no. Tell me in January or February you want to go when it's cold here and nothing cool is going on. But
yes, there you go.
Not for Christmas.
Yeah. That's where you stay home where you have the snow.
And my decorations are.
All right, perfect. So we're going to start with our questions. Rachel John asks, curious about lengths and pricing compared with non-seasonal romances. So when I launched my novella last year, although I don't know if it was really a novella, I think it was 38,000 words, 39,000 words. I launched it I don't remember if I launched it first at 99 cents and then I upped it to $2.99, but it sold well at $2.99 the entire month of December. And I was only advertising about $20, I think, every day. And it stayed in the top 200 the whole month. It was a crazy, like, I don't really ever have launches like that are that easy.
Yeah, I remember watching you guys do amazing. I was like, oh, you guys are awesome.
You're like, I should have written a Christmas book.
Well, I did. I wrote a young adult one. Yeah, mine was 35,000 words. But young adult
was harder to sell as Christmas.
But it still did pretty well. It's better than the book that I'd written before that, so that was good. It was 35,000 words, and I sold it at $2.99 also, and it did pretty well. And it still even has sold well all year, so that's been nice.
Yep. I think for me, to answer the question, I don't have a different pricing strategy or link strategy than I do with everything else. It's that doesn't really factor into it for me. I just try to, get the right story out to the market, but the length, I've written a full length that I think was around 60,000 words. And obviously it makes me more money when it sells. Luckily, it's the first in the series. The second book is short. It was like 35,000 or something like that. So it's not as profitable for me, but it sells just as well. And the readers are just as happy with the length of it. So it's just about the KU pages at that point as it is with everything else. And I have another short story, a shorter story that's around 30,000 that's tied to my billionaire series, and same thing, same price strategies, still short, for a romance, but it was no problem. I think that book has sold amazingly well for what it was. So I wouldn't worry about that part of it.
And what did you guys price your anthology at?
I believe it was at $2.99.
And that sold really well last year too, right?
Yeah, that sold so well that we put ourselves through the torture of doing it again. Which it really is torture because writing at 15,000 words is so hard. Yeah. So I would rather write 3 30,000 word books than to write one 15,000. So I think we all ended up closer to 20,000.
Yeah, like my one attempt at 15,000 ended up being like 23,000. So I have no idea how you could do that.
It was so hard. But nobody quote me on the price. It might be $3.99. I am such a lame partner in this anthology, and I just get my story ready and let the other ladies do all the work, like the covers and the formatting and that's
well, and I think with an anthology, and I find this is my box sets as well, if you price it at 99 cents, people just buy it for 99 cents because you use that price strategy to say, okay, well, I will price it at 99 cents to get those page reads. But then it's such a good deal to have 5, 6 short stories, at 99 cents, people will buy it. So you have, for me, if I do price something at 99 cents, I watch my page reads. And if my page reads aren't picking up and I'm getting more sales, that tells me I should probably flip my price so that it's more desirable to pick up through KU than it is through 99 cents. Yeah.
Definitely.
And that's where pricing would come into play. Now, for me, I'm releasing some books wide. And so I was like, well, hey, I could write it shorter because I don't have to depend on the page reads. But then I was like, but I don't want people to feel gypped. I don't want to write a shorter story and then not, you know what I mean? Like I wrote the story the way it needed to be, but I didn't want to try and cut it shorter just because I was going to sell it wide. So I was like, okay, I'm going to make sure that people are getting enough value out of it because I don't want to sound like pretentious, but I just wanted to make sure that like, you're going to pay this much for my book. I want to make sure you're getting a good deal, like a fleshed out good story. Yeah, good value. Not that I'm saying short stories are bad. I have short stories too, but
I would just say like that there's some specialized things about a Christmas story, but I don't think that pricing and length are one of them.
Right.
So,
and I think too, when you're writing a Christmas story, it's very much about Christmas, and it almost can get harder to write longer and longer Christmas stories because you normally base it around Christmas time and you don't want to drag things out too long. So they actually end up being kind of shorter just because it is a shorter period of time that you have to work with.
Well, and I also think just as far as writing it and then readers consuming it, you don't have a whole lot of material like you're saying, but also readers don't have a lot of time during the holidays either. They're so busy and, we're competing for their attention with Hallmark movies that is very similar to what we're writing. And so, I think having that shorter story that they can just sit down, I think I've referred to it as a snack size kind of thing. It's nice that they can sit down in an evening when they got time to kill and get through a story in a few hours is something that's attractive to a lot of people.
Yeah. I had a friend who said that once. She says she looks at a book and if it's over 300 pages, she won't even pick it up because she's like, I just don't have time for that. So I can imagine in the Christmas season, people are looking at page numbers and saying, oh, that's too much. I couldn't read that in a sitting. And, short stories are nice because you can read one and then close your book. And then when you're ready to read another, you open it back up. It's not so much, you get lost where the story is at.
As long as you deliver the story, the full experience, I think that the shorter length is kind of nice at Christmas. So
perfect. Well, Donna Davis asks, how soon can you release them and how late can you release them? And I think this is a big, and Michelle probably has the most experience because she released a lot of different times last year.
Yeah, I did. I have to say, I think so many traditional books come out in October. I think that's too early for an indie with a new release because if you release in October, then you're going to lose all of your big promotional push in that first 30 days when the Christmas market isn't even really, moving yet. It's just starting to trickle in. So I think November releases are fine. I think if my ideal release date would probably be the third week of November. Just because then I would be able to build the momentum of the book and kind of get the ranking up by the time the beginning of December hit. And I would still be within that 30-day window by the time I got, right at Christmas. But last year I did release a book, like, what was it? Like December 14th or something?
Yeah, your Christmas, your mistletoe one?
Yeah, I was so late on that one, and I'm praying I'm not going to be that late this year. I've got swap set up for December 9th, so that's my ultimate deadline. But yeah, that was pretty much too late, really.
Yeah.
Like I put it out there because that's when I got it done, but it was too late. I couldn't get my rank up where I needed it to in time to really grab those readers before Christmas. The good news is that they do sell through January, so it wasn't a completely lost cause for me, but it didn't perform the way I wanted it to. And I've got it this year. It's just one more book in my series this year that I can sell again. So if you don't quite hit the market the way you want to this year, just think of it, as building material for the next year. So.
And Judy, what about you?
I did it like November 18th last year, and I thought it was great. And so that's like, I'm aiming for November 18th or 19th or 20th this year if I can get it done in time. So yeah, I think that's just a great time because then you have the 30 days and it'll like the 30-day new release thing will end like right before Christmas, and that's when like things get even crazier for people, so you can catch them through the month. And yeah, I like
there are a lot of people that are finally able to sit down and read when Christmas is over.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and then moving into January, and January is historically the best month December last year was my best month, but January was definitely a good month as well.
Yeah. So from $1,000 of each other, I think they were both real close.
Mine wasn't like that, but I was also doing big pushes last December, so that is why I had a high month. But for me, I was just thinking about it, and I'm like, I did release 3 Christmas books last year. So I released a YA one in the beginning of November. I tried to stay away from November because in the beginning, I feel like that's when Amazon and Facebook are gearing up towards the holiday season. Amazon's trying to get stuff ready for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, and every time I try to release, or I hear people talking in November about releasing early in the month, it's just something is going on, and Amazon will mess with the also bots, or they'll disappear. People are having a hard time logging into their KDP account. My associates link will go down all the time. It'll tell me I can't access it, and then a couple minutes later I can. So they're definitely doing something on their end. And I would say I released one in the beginning of November that just died. That didn't do anything. And then I released one at the end of November, but you got to be careful because there's Thanksgiving and people are most of the time not around during Thanksgiving. People think, oh, well, people are shopping. Let's do a big sale. And I think Thanksgiving, notoriously,
they're not shopping for books.
No, I think it's been a pretty low day. So I would avoid Thanksgiving time in general, maybe a day before and a day after. I wouldn't try and release during those times. If you had to, I'd probably just push it. Like I want to release far enough away from Thanksgiving that I'm actually I'm where I want to be in the store when Thanksgiving hits. And if not, then I would push on till after Thanksgiving and shoot for like December 1st, December 2nd in that area, because you don't want to be so close to Thanksgiving. But people are in the buying mood in December. So ad prices go up. It's more expensive to advertise. So you have to be aware of that as well. So if you're going to push ads in December, it's going to be more expensive. Amazon and Facebook ads. I mean, your just cost per click goes higher because there's people bidding way more money than you are. Yeah. And then I did release a book, another YA book. I'm just remembering this, like the last part of December. And I actually did a big push during Christmas, like on Christmas Day. Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, and then the next day,
cost per clip went down right then.
Yeah, it was right like Christmas Day, and all my CPCs dropped. It was crazy, and so so be aware of that as well. I mean, as soon as Christmas is over, people aren't going to be spending money to show you their product. But then that was the first book I ever got to the top 100, and I saw a really good page read that Christmas Day because people were home and reading. And so they might as well. So you just kind of have to learn when it is what you do. January, I did that book. I don't know how long it took until I got out of the red with that book. because it kind of just died off. But it was a novella and it was a YA, and I was just trying to prove that to myself I could get to the top 100. So I wouldn't recommend doing that, but I did it then. So I mean, I guess you could release. I don't know. I would shoot for the last 2 weeks of November, first week of December if you're gonna release a Christmas book. But if you're like Michelle and me and we have previous Christmas books, I've been advertising to my current Christmas book and I'm getting sales to it. So I wouldn't, say it's not possible, but it's definitely people just aren't so much into the Christmas quite yet.
It's just starting.
Yeah.
Okay, so books are selling, and I haven't checked the bestseller list on Clean and Wholesome this week. How many books are showing up?
There's not very many Christmas books in the top yet.
I wouldn't have thought so.
Well, and if you have released your Christmas book, don't fret. What you should do is plan a big promo the first week of December. Plan a free day, plan a 99-cent day, buy promotions, get newsletter swaps, start some ads. Like, even if you don't have all that Amazon juice behind you, there's ways to get visible and in front of people. And once you do, and your book is there's going to be people searching for Christmas books, and they will pick it up, and it'll be a lot less work for you to push it. So don't fret.
One of the benefits of listening to our podcast live is you can hear us say, like, go get your promo dates now because they're filling up. I actually spent my whole day getting promos lined up today because they're starting to disappear. So if you want a spot, on some of these paid newsletters, you better be working on it now. So I literally did that today so that I could come on here and tell you and not be afraid of losing my own spots.
You should have waited till I did it.
Go.
I know. See you, everyone.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Yes, do that. So Gail Null says, oh, yay. I'm curious to know if you bother any email. Oh, here we go. Email promos or do any free 99-cent days with prior books in the series when you release these, or do they just take off on their own?
I always try and put some promos behind it. This year, I'm putting all my promo, like paid newsletters, towards the first books in my series and towards my book that's connected to a different series. So I got promo scheduled for both of those, and then as soon as I get my I'm hoping to get a pre-order up for the third book just so I can schedule a promo for it.
Are you gonna for the first books in your series, are you gonna be doing 99-cent or like free day?
I'm gonna do a free day. I'm gonna do it for the first book of my series, and then I'll do a 99-cent deal on the third book if I can make that happen. But yeah. Cool. I tried for a book bub. Sadly, I was rejected, but that was to be expected, I guess, because I have yet to get one on a single title.
Me too. Or even a box set, whatever.
They're picky about YA. I always submit my YA, and they always reject me.
Yeah, I still haven't even attempted the adult thing, so I wanted to get more adult books before I even put the money towards it.
One of the fun things is a lot of people send out special newsletters during Christmas. And so there's just a lot of fun, like party things going on around the authors' promo circles. And so, it's not a bad idea to be looking at, swaps or different group promotions or things that are going on. Like people will do like 12 days of Christmas promotions or, stuff like that. So just keep your eyes open for things that, because readers are wanting to get their hands on stories. They're looking. I don't know about you guys, but I will go through the Hallmark Channel and set my DVR to record every single movie that I want to watch. And my husband goes nuts because I fill up the whole DVR with Christmas books. And I do the same thing with books. I will just go on and I will just grab because I want them ready when I'm ready. And I think readers are very quick to click during Christmas on a Christmas book compared to their shopping habits the rest of the year. I mean, what do you guys think? Like, it's sometimes you kind of have to overcome that obstacle with the reader. Like, oh, am I gonna, commit my money or my time to this book that I really don't know if it's gonna be good at Christmas? Like Christmas, yeah, there's mistletoe, yeah, click there,
I really think that's true. I really do. And in her terms of her question, do they just take off on their own? It depends. Like my YA really didn't. I had to push them, and I think Judy says she kind of feels similar to that. But I mean, my one book did take off on its own. So I mean, I did do some pushes at the beginning, but it just stayed high. Every day I was like, it's gonna drop by now, and it didn't until after Christmas. Then that's when it started to drop.
I think if you can hit those Christmas tropes, you know, and sell with your cover and your tagline and your blurb, just like we always talk about, put your packaging together, but hit the Christmas tropes really hard, then you'll do well, and you won't have to work as hard, you know, if you package it right.
Well, and you hear other authors say, I never release in December. December is a crapshoot month for me. And that's because everybody, I feel, is reading Christmas books. So if you have a Christmas book, that's when you should release it. If you have another book, I have a tendency to wait till the end of December, because that's after Christmas time, or right around that time is when they're all getting their Kindles, and Amazon does deals, and Amazon's pushing people to load their Kindles.
So they give everybody free KU
subscriptions. Yeah. So that's definitely one I push, because then I want to have stuff going for January, because January is a big month for reading. So that's when I would not release like a regular book in my series non-Christmassy. And I did that. So 2 years ago, when Michelle released her first one, and I released my third billionaire book right around Thanksgiving, my book did not do very well in the month of December. And Michelle's book got up to 600 in the store, and mine just didn't. And I was like, I remember texting Victorine. Michelle doesn't know this. I'm like, am I a terrible writer? Why can't my books ever get high like Michelle? And she's like, no, you're fine. And so I was like, okay. And I think it was just not a Christmas book. It was a Stranded in Alaska book. So it was not
more than made up for it. Since
you didn't know that, did you? I was like,
no, I really can't get my books up.
I know, but you didn't pay like I pay for mine. You were like, just every day we're like, oh my gosh, Michelle, look at your book. And you're like, I know, this is crazy. Yeah. So that's when I was like, I need to write Christmas books. That's what I need to do.
Yeah, this time of year, I'm telling you, you have to be passionate about it. It's like, I hate when people just say, oh, well, I'm going to write a Christmas romance because that's what sells. And on Christmas, I think you can feel when the author doesn't really care about Christmas. You know, like that's kind of the whole big trope, is the commercialization of Christmas, or of, you know, commerce in general versus, you know, real passion and heart and love. And so I think that people who love Christmas and love Christmas stories, it's a great investment of your time, especially if you can put a book together fairly quickly. Because like I said, it doesn't just sell for like that 4 weeks of December. It sells into January. It actually sells all year long. And it just builds every year the backlist that you have specifically geared towards those Christmas readers. And that's what I've been working on. This is my 3rd year now. Actually, the first book I ever published was a Christmas book. And, you know, I'm just building up so that when Christmas hits every year, hopefully in like 10 years, I'm going to have this massive backlist of just Christmas titles that I can hook a reader into one and get them to sweep on through. So that, you know, you just freshen them up. The title's fresh, and you know, keep them on trend. And that's
so funny. So that's like basically the next question. So is it best to do a Christmas series, such as 3 books published in one Christmas season, or is publishing just one great Christmas book per season better?
I think you can do either.
Yeah,
I would honestly do one per Christmas season, because it takes a lot of work and effort and money just to launch one book. And what would happen is you would launch one, and then you would run out of steam to launch 2 and 3.
I've seen some great success with author collaborations where everybody releases like once a week or something like that. And I've actually have some author friends who are rocking it right now with their Christmas series that they're doing together. And but yeah, because it is a time investment and it is for a very specific market, it would be a lot to try to release a whole series in one Christmas season. I wouldn't recognize that or recommend that unless you were just like lightning fast at writing books. But what a terrible time of the year to burn yourself out. You know, like you've already got all the pressure of Thanksgiving and Christmas, all the family stuff, we all know what a madhouse. I'm planning to basically take December off this year as much as I possibly can. The last thing I would want to do is go into that season completely burned out. So, you know, for me, I try and do like 2 shorter books every year. One in my main Christmas series, and then like this year it was in the anthology. But last year I also wrote one at the end of another series, which is that part of this question or another one? Is this just about like a specific?
Yeah, it's just about 3 books published in one Christmas season or one great Christmas book per season.
I think one great one. I think that's what I would tell people.
That's actually another question farther down, so we can answer that.
I knew we had something that was connected to it.
Yeah. So Inez asked, also please talk about how you market after the holidays. I hear talk of swapping covers. And Danielle Ferguson said, yes, I have a book that the time frame is October through Christmas Day. Can I market it as a holiday romance, especially since the cover doesn't have a Christmas wintry scene? So I think for Danielle, I would say people who want to read, like there's a difference between having the time period happen during that time and what Christmas readers are really looking for. So if it's very much about the build up to Christmas and Christmas is like the catalyst, then I would say, yeah, go ahead, market it as a holiday romance. There's a difference between, like if I heard holiday romance, my mind would automatically go to Christmas. If it's a Halloween, maybe Thanksgiving romance, that's not what I'm going to think of. And I don't know if you're going to be able to capture that Christmas audience. But if you do have Christmas in your book and it is a major part of your book, then I would definitely put on a Christmas scene, wintry scene on your cover during the Christmas time.
Yeah. Like Amy was alluding to, I don't think that you might make readers mad if you try and make them think, oh, this is a holiday romance, and then it's barely mentioned in your book. So be careful about that. But, you know, there wouldn't be anything wrong if you switch your cover out to something that has like a snowy scene on it, and you don't necessarily like put mistletoe and bows and stuff all over your cover to say, this is Christmas, you know. It would probably still help it sell a little bit better just to have like the snow on the cover, you know, because people are scrolling and they're looking, and that would be enough to draw attention. It's really easy just to swap out a cover for, you know, a few months.
Yeah. And then afterward, you can, if you did do a Christmas, like super Christmassy book, afterwards you can even change the cover after Christmas is over. That's what I did last year, and it sold really well all year long.
Yeah, that's my second billionaire book is a Christmas book, and every year I swap out the cover, which reminds me I should probably swap out the cover and run some promos on it, and then market it as a Christmas romance. And then for my current Brothers series, I was realizing I was going to be releasing it around December, and then I was like, hey, a great time for a family to get together is Christmas time. So I have 2 covers, one that has some snow flurries on it and he looks like he's wearing a coat. And then the other cover has no snow flurries. So I can just swap it out. And I might even just leave it with the snow flurries because it's kind of subtle. It like that one is not so Christmas. It's more kind of hinting to, alluding to it. And even like the title is not, it's in keeping with my series. But however, my Christmas one this year is all Christmas. I mean, last year it was Second Chance Mistletoe Kisses. So very much in keeping with the Christmas season and the Christmas expectations.
So with my Southern Billionaire series, the 4th book in the series is a Christmas book, and it is all about Christmas, and it is, you know, just massively, and I cannot disconnect it from Christmas in any way. So
if you were to pull Christmas from your story, the book would fall apart.
Yeah. And so I haven't bothered changing the cover on that one, but it still sells. And it's still part of my box set. And I think I've got 50 plus reviews on that box set that have come in organically, and nobody has commented like, oh, except it was weird that there was a Christmas one at the back. You know, nobody's even mentioned it, you know. And so like it's been just fine doing its thing. So I've left it alone. But that brought me to something that we've seen a lot of authors talk about and do, and that is whether or not to start a series with a Christmas romance. Because so many people are like, well, I've got this Christmas book and I'm ready to release it and it's Christmas time. So it's going to be the first book of my series. And then I'm going to build on that and do different things after Christmas. And that is just not a good idea, because your first book in a series needs to be something you can promo all the time, hit it hard, sell it well all year long.
Mhm.
If the rest of your series is not Christmas, then you're not going to be able to promo your series very effectively. And so I strongly discourage anybody from starting a series with a Christmas book if the rest of the series is not going to be Christmas. So,
Yeah.
but it's great as like a bookend book.
Well, I would say then, if you are, maybe pull back a little bit on the Christmas. So it's not Michelle's Tree for the Billionaire, which is all Christmas. You know what I mean? Like,
yes. Like if it's just, but still, I still think.
Yeah, definitely. If you're starting out author, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, I would write a Christmas book and release it, but I would not tie it to a series.
That's not.
Or
good.
make it possible where that you could actually afterwards move it to be like the third.
Yeah.
So, but it all depends on how you are doing it.
You just don't want it to be your
series.
front runner, your hooking book, the book that hooks the series.
Yeah.
And if it does, find another one that hooks them too.
Yeah.
So Elizabeth Brayton says, I love to know about the specific Christmas tropes that resonate with fans of the genre. I seem to hear a lot of people coming back home from the holidays and finding second chance love, but it would be interesting to hear which other tropes work and how else you can capture the spirit of the season.
So for those of you who are in our Facebook group, I believe in the files, there is still my list of Christmas tropes that I made last year. And so there's like a whole bunch of them there.
Mm-hmm.
But a great way to find tropes is to watch Hallmark movies.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the ones that I think are just evergreen are the one of the characters needs to be from the big city and they need to come to the small town, or they need to return to the small town, and they need to, there's the trope where somebody saves Christmas, and there's the trope where somebody needs to be rescued, and there's like, a Christmas miracle or a Christmas angel. There's just like the ones that you see in the movies all the time, over and over and over again, and people just love them. And it's weird because there are specific ones for Christmas.
And I would say second chance is big for shorter romances because it's easier. That relationship is already established.
Yeah.
So
that's very true.
And I would also say read Christmas books and find the ones. And honestly, like we started at the beginning and we talked about our own personal loves to be in a story. They were all different. Mm-hmm. So you find what you enjoy about the season and you find a way to stick that into your.
You almost have to have one of the characters not be thrilled about Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
That is.
Although I heard Hallmark hates that because they don't either. Both people have to like Christmas because they go, well, nobody who hates Christmas. So
they might say that, but that's not what their movies say.
That's true.
They have so many movies where one of them is grumpy about it being Christmas, or like not in the spirit, or
and that's like the Grinch Stole Christmas. Like that's legit trope because there's a whole movie about it.
Well, the whole thing is it ties into the romance, but it's that kind of also that little side plot of how they come full circle on believing in the magic of Christmas and being all in by the end of the story. And it usually has something to do with, falling in love at Christmas, So, yeah.
Okay. So Megan Weyerbacher says, what we were talking about earlier, do you think it would be okay to publish a Christmas novel in a series that is otherwise not marketed as Christmas? What I mean is let's say you have two novels with unholiday-ish covers and the third novel is a series, and the series is told Christmassy. Is that a thing as long as the font and placement matches? And I say that's
yeah, that's what I did.
It worked great.
So, okay, so Joanna Stricker says, is there an easy, non-time consuming way to get an old published work brought back to reader view? Published in 2015, never saw action other than family and friends. Doubt it sold more than 20. Put in Kindle Select with new cover, etc. recently, but still not visible. I'm giving up on it now that I have the song ringing in my ears. No, I have that song ringing in my ears. I'm not sure what song she's talking about. But
so I would say the best thing she could do is to write another book, make it part of a series, and package it well. So I don't know. Obviously, without seeing what her covers look like, it would be hard to say if she's ready to go there. And I don't know what her writing is like, but generally, if you're trying to get an older book to, be, seen, to be visible, then you need to put a second book out and make it a series.
Yeah.
Simple.
And then you can get some promos on that first book.
Yep.
Run a sale, get newsletter swaps.
Definitely. But if you don't have time to write one this year and you're just trying to get that one moving, then you're going to need to just put it up for sale.
And I would say probably putting it up for sale is a less time consuming than writing a whole nother book to publish with it. But I would say you're going to have to put in some time to publish or to get that book visible, whether it's doing a whole week long. And I wouldn't do just one day. I would probably try and do like
Countdown.
manually drop it to 99 cents for 4 days, do a bunch of newsletter swaps, and then the last day have a free day. That might be something that kind of gets the ball rolling on your book, and so people can see it.
And make sure you're selling your Christmas tropes.
Yes, and your cover's on point, and your blurb is on point. So, okay, Shannon Brown asks, I wrote one Christmas romance a few years ago. The market seemed saturated, so I didn't write more. I'm thinking I'm wrong. Any tips for having new Christmas romances stand out? And I think it says your cover has to be on point, your title has to be on point, and your blurb really needs to be catchy. I think that's how you're going to stand out.
It's interesting because I've been spending a lot of time looking at covers this year because I was rebranding my covers, and things have shifted to be really more, traditional looking and homey, and I've seen some couples on covers, and I'm hoping that works because that's what I went with on mine. But I don't see many in Clean and Wholesome that only have like the guy on it, which is weird because that's contrary to what is happening with, the market in general, I think. But I don't think Christmas title sells well with just the guy. Now, it's funny because I do have one that just has the guy on it, but that's because that's how the whole series is branded and it's part of a different series. I don't think I would brand a Christmas specific series with only a guy on it. Does that make sense?
Definitely.
Yeah.
My one that last year had a couple that were kissing, or they were almost kissing on it. So, and I think you also have to play with colors too. Like, you want to hit the reds and the blues and the greens. So those are very eye-catching and stop a reader from scrolling, are those colors. Trees in your cover, and like Christmas hats, Christmas color type things would definitely be one you wanna look into. But study the market, figure out where your book is, and see what's selling well in that category. And then don't copy, but try and find your own twist, because you want to stand out. Find your own twist to what people are doing.
Yeah. As far as saturation, Hallmark is putting out more movies every year. Like, I don't even know how many they're putting out this year. Is it like 30 something new movies that
I wish I had the Hallmark Channel. I don't, so I have no idea.
They're seriously putting out like at least that many this year. It's just growing. And then they have all the backlists from all the previous years, and they're just playing movies nonstop all season long. So clearly they're not worried about oversaturating their viewers, you know?
Yeah.
No.
Well,
I-
Netflix keeps putting out more too.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like everywhere. And so you're really, you know, denying yourself the possibility of cashing in on a market that's hungry. You know,
Yeah,
the
definitely.
romance market at Christmas, specifically for Christmas, is insane. So don't worry about oversaturating it, or it being too saturated to, you know, allow you to be visible. The same rules apply as they apply all year long. If you can hit what readers are looking for at that particular time better than anybody else, then, you know, it's possible to do really well. It's, you know, go look and see, spend your time researching just like all of us need to, and go see what is hitting the markets and watch it. And maybe if this, I mean, it's close to Christmas now, so if you're not ready to do it this year, watch it and put it in your game plan for 2020, because, you know, it's not going anywhere. Just start learning the market, watch how it ticks. It's really, really interesting.
Okay, we had some questions in the comments. So Library of Tomes asked, I decided to debut a Christmas book. I'm nervous that isn't the best idea now. And that kind of goes with Crafty Mama 73. She says, I'm writing my reader magnet for NaNoWriMo, and it does take place around Christmas, but Christmas isn't in the name. I was going to have it as a first in a new series, so that is a bad idea.
I don't think it's the strongest start to a series. It's not a Christmas series. I will just state that again.
Well, she says, if I have each book in the series all around Christmas, winter, would that work better?
Yes, absolutely. And that's what I would tell anybody. It's not a bad idea to debut with a Christmas book.
Right.
You just need to build on that in a series of Christmas books, or it needs to be a standalone, you know.
Or you do like what I did with my first series, and you publish one book and then write a prequel after that and then renumber them later.
So, I mean, the concept is more forward thinking, that you just don't want to have a series of 4 or 5 books, and the only one that is Christmas is the first book. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying don't debut with a Christmas book like it's the first book you ever published, because, I mean, I did that. So I would be kind of a hypocrite if I told people not to do that. If that's where your passion is and that's what you got ready, then put it out there. If you want to build a series around that book, I suggest you build a Christmas series around it, or let it be a standalone. Or like Judy says,
do some fudging and make it work.
Just when you write the rest of the series, just don't leave the first book as a Christmas book that doesn't match the rest of the series. That's what we're saying.
Right. Yeah. Because if you're, trying to get new readers in, April, May. Yeah.
Well, actually, Christmas in July might work for you a little bit. But yeah, if it's like April and you want to do a promo on your series and your first book is Christmas, and readers are going to be like, what is this? I'm not in the mood for Christmas right now. And then they don't even take a chance on it, because that's not what they're looking for in April. So you would just be shooting yourself in the foot for promotion the rest of the year if you did.
But like we say on this show, prove us wrong and then come back and tell us. So do it and then tell us how it went, and we will then learn from your experience.
Although there would be a few people that we have said that to that would agree that we were right about it, that have gone in and switched some things up because of it. Yeah.
All right, perfect. Well, I don't think we have any more questions. So we are finished. We'll see you in 2 weeks, where we are going to start talking about setting goals for 2020. So we're excited to dive into that. But until then, join us in the Writing Gals group on Facebook. We'd love to see you there, where we can chat and you can ask specific questions we can answer. And then if you could hit the little red subscribe button down below so you can get notified when we go live. And you can join us. Thank you for those who did join us and stuck with us for the evening. We really appreciate you guys. So thanks for staying up late with us.
Night. Have fun writing.